Well, now let's take a look at the winning numbers in tonight's New York State Lottery. The win four numbers are 6, 6, 8, and 1. And the daily number is 4, 4, 0. News 4 at 11 is next.
And now, News 4 Buffalo.
A blast of winter white makes driving hazardous tonight and will make for a hard morning drive tomorrow. Good evening, everybody. I'm Rick Pfeiffer, and it's a lousy night to be out tonight. A winter storm warning is in effect for western New York, and in fact, a winter storm is moving through right now. Several inches of snow have already fallen in greater Buffalo, and more is expected. Tonight, driving is hazardous, and tomorrow morning's commute is not expected to be a picnic either. Well, News 4 meteorologist Chuck Gurney has been tracking this storm. He joins us now from Skywatch 4. Chuck, what's the latest?
Well, Rich, it looks as though right now we've had about 5 inches of snow here in Buffalo and about 4 or 5 inches in the southern tier. Now, that snow has changed over to a freezing rain. And as we take a look at tomorrow's morning drive time forecast map, here's what you'll see in the morning. You'll see bands of snow beginning to develop once again. With that 5 inches that we've had this evening, add on an extra 4 inches of snow. That'll bring the total to about 9 inches in Buffalo, nearly a foot in Niagara Falls, 7 inches in East Aurora, 9 inches in Jamestown and in Ripley. This area right here is pretty much representative of what we'll be dealing with tomorrow. Heavier snow accumulations in northwestern Niagara County, northern Orleans County. In Buffalo, though, we are still not going to get away with just a minor dusting out of this one. We still have more snow on the way for us. And not only that, but watch out for your locks on your car doors because they're going to freeze up this evening as we do have some freezing rain falling outside. And if you're headed to work tomorrow, plan on a tough scrape for that front windshield wiper as well as the back one if you've got the defroster on because it is very, very thick ice. Back to you, Rick.
Gosh, Chuck, you were just so full of good news tonight.
I wish I could give you some better news. We'll tell you when it's going to end, though, just a little later on.
I can't wait. Thanks, Chuck. There is one report of a weather-related death tonight. Niagara Regional Police say they were called to a St. David's Road residence to find a 76-year-old woman lying dead in front of her house. Police say the woman apparently fell on the ice and died. Police have not released her name. They're still notifying next of kin. It's not much better out west near Aspen, Colorado. Searchers are trying to find 5 skiers who may have been caught in avalanches. Now, this is the Castle Creek Valley. The skiers are missing somewhere in these vast mountains.
If we don't spot them by air, we aren't going in. It's not safe enough to go look. It's not safe enough to do a large area search except by air.
Now, the skiers have been missing since yesterday morning. 18 other people are reportedly trapped in a cookhouse near the Ashcroft ski area. But water is flowing again to Aspen. Snowslides had blocked creeks that supply the town with water. Well, several homes have been swept away, though, in Southern California as a result of heavy rains there. Now, the rain eroded the banks of the Moab River so severely that some homes near the banks are falling into the river. Now, at least 5 homes have been lost so far along a river, which is usually dry. And authorities say a Chicago Transit Authority train rear-ended another train today. The first day the trains were running along a new route. 35 people were hurt, 1 seriously. The drivers of both trains are being questioned and tested for drugs or alcohol. Transit Authority officials were opening a $187 million realignment of train routes when the accident occurred. President Bill Clinton is on the road again, but now he's taking Air Force One instead of a bus. And instead of trying to win votes, he's trying to win support for his economic plan. Wolf Blitzer has more.
This country ought to be able to
Encouraged by the latest polls, President Clinton has taken his economic sales campaign to California, suffering from nearly 10% unemployment.
If it can happen anywhere, it must happen in California. Unless California is revived, the nation cannot recover economically.
Addressing a Santa Monica Community College audience that included some well-known faces, the president defended his plan, including the increased taxes.
You understand you can't just have the sweet parts of this program. You got to have the tough parts, too.
In the face of growing Republican criticism, he said he was open-minded about more spending cuts. But the president broke no new ground. Privately, senior administration officials concede the president could have cut more deeply. They cite NASA's space station, whose scientific benefits they say are dubious. They also cite the Super Collider. There was intense pressure on the president to kill both programs and save $30 or $40 billion. But aides say this was impossible for 2 reasons. Mr. Clinton had endorsed both during the campaign, and tens of thousands of jobs would have been lost, especially here in California and in Texas. Senior administration officials also say the president tends to revert to campaign rhetoric even when they say he's on shaky ground. Last week, for example, Mr. Clinton said this during his Oval Office address.
And as we make deep cuts in existing government programs, we'll make new investments where they'll do the most good. Incentives to business to create new jobs, investments in education and training, special efforts for displaced defense workers.
Sounds good, especially in California, which has a rapidly shrinking defense industry. Officials say they do have plans and money to help military personnel, government civilian employees, and communities dislocated by shut-down military bases. And Mr. Clinton says he will shortly release $500 million, much of it in California. But that's different than helping defense industry workers. The president next takes his campaign to California's Silicon Valley, where he says he will unveil a new policy to promote high technology. He then flies to Seattle to meet with aerospace workers, many of whom are being laid off and would no doubt love some government assistance. Wolf Blitzer, CNN, Santa Monica, California.
The drive that never fails is off to a great start tonight here in Western New York. At a kickoff dinner tonight, Bishop Edward Head and Monsignor Kniff, the director of Catholic Charities, began the annual appeal. But News 4's Marie Rice tells us that appeal organizers say they're facing a tough challenge in these tough economic times.
St. Joseph University parishioners raised their voices in song today. In a few weeks, they'll be digging deep into their pockets for the 70th annual Catholic Charities Appeal. The drive has never failed to reach its goal. This year, that figure is $7.8 million. That's 2.2% more than last year. Catholics we talked to today say hard economic times still may force them to give at last year's levels, but others are a little more optimistic.
I think it can be up a little bit more this year. I think maybe more optimism, even if it isn't, the economy isn't up there. Still, the optimism factor is there. The new president and all that, maybe, things are going to turn around, and I think it can be up a little bit more than past years.
Well, I would hope to increase it a little bit, but at this point, it might just be just to go with what we did last year. I think we'd be doing well to do that.
Top time?
All over.
$172,000 more will be needed to meet this year's goal. Bishop Edward Head told me today last year they lost 8,500 donors. They're trying to find out why. He says there's a great need out there. People are on a waiting list for many of Catholic Charities services.
We had 150,774 people last year come to us for help. That's the largest number we've ever had in our history. It's a great number for this community. And those people are in need.
Catholic Charities officials are putting an optimistic spin on all of this. They say raising the extra 2.2% will be a challenge, and everyone likes to meet and beat a challenge. Marie Rice, News 4 Buffalo at 11.
Well, while charity was the subject of discussion in Cheektowaga, violence in the streets was very much on the minds of some folks at an East Side bar tonight. Police say that an argument broke out at the Wall Street bar over the new Skateland. When it was over, 2 men were shot, one in the leg, one in the lower abdomen. The victims taken to ECMC. Their names and conditions have not yet been released, but the wounds are not believed to be life-threatening. Niagara Regional Police are intensifying their search of the home of the man they say brutally killed St. Catharines teenagers Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey. Investigators from the Toronto Metro Force and the Green Ribbon Task Force painstakingly combed every inch of the home of suspect Paul Bernardo. The 28-year-old accountant was arrested Wednesday in the St. Catharines suburb of Port Dalhousie. Police sealed the home at that time because they believe that Kristen French may have been killed in the home. Her body was found along a road near Burlington last April. A year earlier, police had recovered the dismembered body of Leslie Mahaffey encased in cement in a nearby waterway. Well, now let's take a look at some of the stories making headlines around the world tonight. In the face of fierce winds and waves, a helicopter airlift is going on in the North Sea off the east coast of Scotland tonight. Choppers are trying to take 380 men off a North Sea oil rig support platform. Now, that platform cut itself free from the rig it was serving because of fears the waves would smash the 2 rigs into one another. The platform acts as living quarters for oil rig workers. Relief has arrived in the Muslim enclave of Zepa in the Bosnia-Herzegovina after a week of waiting. A United Nations truck convoy reached the town after finally being allowed through a Serbian blockade. The trucks are filled with flour, medicines, and family parcels. The trucks had originally been trying to get to Gorzada, another Serb-besieged town, but the convoy was diverted after it ran into a minefield. And while the fighting continues in what used to be Yugoslavia, U.S. Secretary of State Warren Christopher says he's encouraged by the possibility of renewed peace talks in the Middle East. The Secretary received commitments to talks while on a tour of Middle Eastern nations. Today, Christopher met with Syrian President Hafez al-Assad and Saudi King Fahd as part of the ongoing effort to get those peace talks back on track. Still to come on News 4 at 11, we'll tell you about a school closing or two. And what better way to spend a February evening than on ice skates? We'll tell you why.
Well, ice may not be the only problem in our forecast. We've got some snow to talk about. Details in a few.
I'll have a blizzard update, the soccer variety, some home cooking in the NBA All-Star Game, and Canadians highlights straight ahead in Big Board Sports.
Hungry, hungry, hungry. Where? I got the kids what to eat. You are what you eat. Oh, please, sir, may I have some more? Something cheesy, perplexing. Perkins. Pancakes, pot pie, French silk pie. Oh, and a nice waitress. I can't go dressed like this. Oh, wait a minute. Sure I can. Oh, and dessert. I don't need dessert, but my taste buds do. I really have no say in the matter. I eat to live and live to eat.
Perkins. It's food for thought.
With a luxury car like the new J30 from Infiniti, you may be expected to drive with a certain decorum in public. What you do behind closed doors, however, is your own business. What you do behind closed doors, however, is your own business. The new Infiniti J30 makes you want to take up driving again, doesn't it?
Experience it at Auto Place.
Surprises are around every corner at Walt Disney's World on Ice as the whole Disney gang comes live to Niagara Falls Convention and Civic Center March 12th through 14th. WIBVTV 4 invites kids under 12 to save $2 at the Saturday, March 13th, 12 noon show with our compliments. Tickets are on sale now at the box office and all Ticketmaster outlets, or call to charge by phone. Don't miss Walt Disney's World on Ice.
When Jonathan made his debut into the Harper family, he arrived without any financial surprises. That's because his mom and dad had their health coverage through Independent Health. And while traditional health insurance companies will sometimes surprise you by disallowing parts of your medical bills, Independent Health doesn't work that way. Because we know you don't like surprises. Independent Health. Quality coverage you can depend on.
Maurice Sendak once wrote, "In February, it's so nice, while slipping on the sliding ice, to sip hot chicken soup with rice." Well, there wasn't any chicken soup at the Audubon rink in Amherst tonight, but there was plenty of slipping on the sliding ice going on, and all in a good cause. The Amherst Hockey Association sponsored a skate-a-thon tonight. The proceeds from tonight's slippery proceedings will go to benefit other skaters. The Skating Association for the Blind and Handicapped, my good friends at Saba. And if you were tired of thinking about winter, you could lose yourself in the sights and sounds of the Wild West by attending the Can-Am Championship Rodeo this weekend. It happened at the Niagara Falls Convention Center, and you could see firsthand the skills that make things like cattle drives possible, roping and branding and the like, and a few bucking broncos. And some familiar Channel 4 folks showed today they have the skills to help make an auction a success. A celebrity auction held at the Hearthstone Manor in Cheektowaga today. Carol Jason and Kevin O'Connell, among others, on hand to help sell the vast array of donated goods on display. And the money made from the auction goes to benefit the pediatric trauma unit at Children's Hospital. Well, Chuck Journey has come out of the Skywatch Weather Center, and you know, you have much better news for us now, right?
Good news for you, yeah. The snowplow just went through the driveway, so...
Great.
Bad news is about your car. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Oh.
No, we've got some snow to talk about. Stay tuned. Weather's up next.
I love these French films. They're so romantic, so passionate. Oh, here comes the juicy part. Oh, Arby's French dip sub with a cup of hot au jus. Oh, look at all that lean, oven-roasted roast beef. Arby's French dip sub, it's so juicy, it's so delicious. Makes me very emotional. And look, it's only $1.99. What a price!
La différence c'est bon, n'est-ce pas?
That is my favorite line. Different is good.
Mary Brody won't feel the tiny lump in her breast for another 2 years. But it'll be discovered tomorrow after her first mammogram, thanks in part to an X-ray film created by DuPont. And for Mary Brody, early detection means a 2-year head start on the rest of her life. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference. Better things for better living.
All across the country, excitement is growing for one of the biggest automotive events of the year, the National Eagle Sale at your Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can lease or buy the all-new award-winning Eagle Vision. Get cashback savings when you lease or buy sporty Eagle Talent. And find great values on Eagle Summits. From L.A. to New York, it's the most exciting automotive event of the year. But you'd better hurry in, because a sale this exciting won't last long.
If you're cutting back on atrazine rates, don't cut back on quackgrass control. Go right to Roundup herbicide for top control at a rock-bottom price. Roundup stops quackgrass, shoots, roots, and all, before it competes to steal yield. So, cut quackgrass right out of the picture with low-priced Roundup. It's never cost less. See your dealer.
Now, if you've just come in from shoveling your driveway and you think you're all set for the morning drive tomorrow,
warm up.
Guess what?
Big change and a big storm.
Oh, no.
This is normally our national weather summary here, and I'll just give you an idea of our storm system. As long as this paper is probably about as big as this storm system is, too.
What's about how much snow is surrounding my car right now?
Really? Yeah, we do have quite a bit of snow, and I've been quite busy tracking this storm tonight. It looks like now initially we have some rain. It has been freezing on contact with some surfaces, especially cars, so tomorrow morning as you get up, these big white fluffy flakes will be coming rather prevalent during morning drive time, but right now we have some freezing rain. As we take a look at our current condition, we'll show you it's 33 degrees, 1 degree above freezing. Humidity is 90%. Barometric pressure is very low, 29.37. It's still falling. Winds are still out of the east. Bad news. When we have that wind out of the east like that, it generally means freezing rain or rain before we start to change over to snow once again. Almanac for today, high 33, the low 6 degrees. 5 inches of snow so far, and it looks like we're on our way to about 9 inches of snow here in Buffalo, perhaps as much as a foot of snow, as some northwestern parts of Niagara and Orleans County could see some of this heavy snow once again. Here are some of those accumulations. Now, this is complete snow coverage as far as from first flake to probably about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We could have as much as a foot in Niagara Falls, about 9 inches. What that means is about 4 extra inches here in Buffalo, about 6 or 7 extra inches in Niagara Falls, and at East Aurora, perhaps an additional 3 inches on top of their 4 inches already, and Batavia, 10 inches of snow. Winter storm warning in effect for all of western New York, northern Pennsylvania. Now, earlier tonight, we had the snow falling, and now what's happened is we've seen some of that snow mixing with and changing over to a little bit of rain, especially in the southern tier. It's been causing some problems, too. On the treated road surfaces, there are no problems, but on some untreated intersections, perhaps some secondary roads, very slick. Skywatch 4 weather radar shows most of that precipitation moving off to the northeast right now. I'm going to stop this right about here and show you that this large area of dark green here is actually rain shower activity. And then we also have back here some snow flurry activity. Our exclusive three-dimensional satellite view shows those clouds really zipping along, and a very good comma spiral-shaped cloud band right toward the end of this loop here. You can see the clouds building right here and then gradually swirling around. And that's why I'm basing my forecast with heavier snows in Niagara Falls, northwest of Buffalo, and lighter snows as you travel to the southeast. Tomorrow's forecast, it's a white one. Tonight's forecast, well, let's get right to it. Rain and snow mixing together, 30 to 34, southeasterly winds, 15 to 25 miles an hour. Coming up for tomorrow, 2 to 4 inches, additional snow, 28 to 32 for a low temperature. Then tomorrow night, another 1 to 3 inches of additional snow and very cold low temperatures, 5 to 10 degrees. 4-day outlook shows snow gradually tapering off on Wednesday, believe it or not. Thursday and Friday, we'll see flurries and then clouds with a temperature in the middle 20s. Once again, tomorrow morning, as you're headed toward work, arrive a little bit earlier because the roads will be slick and your windshield, you'll need an ice pick for it. Sorry.
No, thank you. What a really wonderful forecast.
I accept full responsibility.
I can say. I know you've been working hard today. Thank you, Chuck. Now, it is entirely possible that with this snowstorm, there will be weather-related school closings tomorrow morning, so Richard Reeve will bring you those closings along with weather and traffic reports starting at 5 minutes to 6. That's 5:55 in the a.m. on News 4 Now. Now, speaking of school closings, a water main break in Tonawanda has forced the closing tomorrow of the Language Development Program at the Brighton building only, and the Enchanted Forest preschool will be closed as well. But sports goes on.
That's exactly right, Rick. The Sabers were back at it today, practicing in Saberland, and they were flying high in Salt Lake City. NBA All-Star Game highlights coming up.
Well, it's back to the neighborhood to find out what people like about the Neapolitan pizza at Pizza Hut.
Crust is crispy. I like crispy crust.
The cheese is excellent.
I like the crust. It's thin, it's crispy. The cheese?
Hey, we better keep track of this.
It's great. It's delicious.
Are you surprised at the price? Only $6.99 for a large cheese Neapolitan pizza.
Wow. now I am surprised. I'll definitely have it again.
Well, we better make more then. The Neapolitan pizza available now at Pizza Hut.
Here's a truckload of factory-authorized savings from Marilat Kitchens. 50% off on an 8x12 floor plan. Sale price $897 in Marilat Horizon. Sale price $971 in Rutland Cabinetry. Sale price $1,272 in Marilat Springbrook. Sale price $1,744 in White Bay Cabinetry. Hurry, this offer is limited. Buffalo, Kenton Fabricators, Kenmore, Carter Cabinets, West Seneca, Tim Fleury and Associates at Quality Lumber.
Get a free trip to Florida or $200 in sporting goods during the official sales event. Buy or lease a new or used car, truck, or van at a participating NFATA member dealer and receive your choice of either one round-trip Sandro Tours air voucher to Florida or a $200 Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods gift certificate. Offer must end February 27th. Check the Buffalo News for participating dealers and details on how to register to win a Caribbean cruise during the
official sales event.
Escape. Calvin Klein. Your gift with any $38.50 Escape purchase at Kaufman's.
Well, just about all the hoopla you could possibly want today.
Yeah, they even played defense in this NBA All-Star game.
Right.
It was pretty good, yeah. The NBA All-Star game front and center tonight in the sports world, and the laser light show out in Salt Lake City at the Delta Center, and the light show pretty good, and so was the game. As usual, the East squad up on top early, and the rookie, Shaquille O'Neal, the jam. He had 14.7 rebounds in his first All-Star game. Late first half, time running out. Terry Porter fires one up. It's tipped in there by Danny Manning. It didn't count, still looked good, but the West squad still led at 57-52 at the half. Second half, Elijah Snorks Johnson right there. John Stockton will push it back up the other way. Over to Dan Marley of Phoenix. And Marley, the nice reverse dipsy doodle right there. And Steve Young, the former Brigham Young player, on hand, and he's liking what he was seeing. East now, Mark Price won the three-point shootout last night. Well, today he had 6 three-pointers in the game, an all-star game record. He was on fire. Karl Malone had a big day in front of the home crowd, as did his teammate Stockton. Here, Malone will get the hoop down low, banks it off the window, 28 points, 10 rebounds. Tight game now, late, 119-117 West, 8 seconds to go. Patrick Ewing fires it up, ties the game up at 119. It goes into overtime, but in the overtime, the West squad would take control. Charles Barkley, the three-pointer right there, the West would go on to win it, 135-132 in overtime. John Stockton, 9 points, 15 assists, named co-MVP along with his Utah Jazz teammate Karl Malone. So the folks in Utah get quite a show tonight. Top 25 college hoops. Bobby Knight's top-ranked Indiana Hoosiers stayed unbeaten in the Big Ten by taking cross-state rival 14th-ranked Purdue. Calbert Cheney pulled up, hit the jumper right there. Indiana off and rolling early second half. Gene Cady would be unhappy pretty much the entire day in this one. A little later, Brian Evans forced the turnover. Greg Graham picks it up, gets it back to Evans for 2. Graham with 32. Indiana improves to 24-2 with their 93-78 win over the Boilermakers. Down in Raleigh, North Carolina, before the Duke-NC State game, they honored former Wolfpack coach Jim Valvano, who's suffering from cancer. Nice ceremony today. NC State on the move off the miss. Loose ball. Thompson picks it up. Eventually, he'll get the layup and one and count it. NC State was in this one early on, but late second half, Duke takes over. Off the miss right here. Cherokee Parks gets the jam. He had 19, 16 in the second half to spur Duke on. Late now, a little icing. Hurley, the alley-ooper. Kaboom, it's Thomas Hill. Duke ranks number 7, down NC State 91-82. Elsewhere, top 25. Number 3, North Carolina by 20 over 23rd-ranked Virginia. 4th-ranked Arizona by 10 over 8th-ranked Cincinnati. Terry DeHare had 15. He becomes Seton Hall's all-time leading scorer. And Houston upset number 22 Louisville 89-81. The Sabres were back at it out at Saberland this afternoon after traveling back from New Jersey yesterday. The Sabres still hanging in that Adams Division race after getting 3 of a possible 4 points on their recent mini road trip. The Sabres are 4-2-1 in their last 7 on the road, and Rob Ray says it's a new, aggressive philosophy that has helped the club improve its road play.
We're just trying to play a simple game on the road. You know, we're working on our forechecking and that. You know, we're getting on teams and we're trying to get the lead early in the game on the road and try to play with the lead a little more, and instead of, you know, sitting back and waiting to them determine the outcome of the game. So, you know, we're just sitting back and we're forechecking and we're creating the opportunities instead of waiting for them.
The Sabres and the rest of the Adams still chasing the Habs, who hosted the Oilers tonight. Early on, Peter Klima moves around Patrick Roy, and the Oilers led the Habs in this one 1-0. In fact, they led 2-zip after 1, but back come the Canadians. Gary Lehman started the rush, gets it over to John LeClaire. He puts it home. It was a 2-1 game. Score tied at 2 early in the third. LeClaire will snap the tie with the rebound right there. Number 17 gets it. Habs win it 4-2. They're 7-1-1 in their last 9. They win it 4-3 over the Oilers. The second place Nordique in New Jersey to take on the Devils. Watch Owen Nolan. Little Deke right there. Comes back with a wrist shot. His 30th, and the Nordiques led the Devils 1-zip. Second period, Owen Nolan. He'll move in on net. He'll lose the puck as he moves in close, but Matt Sundin is right there for the follow-up. The Habs, they continue to win as well. They win at 6-3. They're 17-7-7 on the road, the best record away from home in the NHL. The Nords move 8 points up on the Sabres. Sabres with 1 game in hand. The Habs up 13 points, but the Sabres have 3 games in hand. So everybody in the Adams division playing some pretty good hockey, and the Sabres will host the Red Wings on Wednesday at the Odd. The rest of the NHL scores from this afternoon. Chicago beat Calgary by a 4-3 count. Washington over St. Louis 5-2. Brett Hull did have a goal in that one. Jeff Sanderson, the hat trick for the Whalers, but they fall to Pittsburgh 4-3. The Penguins snapping a 3-game skid, and the Red Wings win it over Minnesota. They remain 2 points behind the Hawks. NPSL action tonight. The Blizzard, they blew one down in Kansas City. They lose it 11-10. They had a 3-goal lead late, but back came Kansas City. They got the game winner with 32 seconds to go. John Perry scored it. So the Blizzard fall to 18-11. Paul Doherty, 2 goals, 2 assists. The Blizzard with a big game on Thursday night. They host the front-running Baltimore. The Blizzard now 3 games behind Baltimore, so a big game for the Blizzard at home Thursday. This week's stop on the PGA Tour, the Buick Open in La Jolla, California. Quite a day for this young guy, Phil Mickelson, who was born in nearby San Diego. Mickelson, who won as an amateur 2 years ago, picked up his first win as a pro today. Mickelson shot a 7-under par 65 today to finish the 4-round tourney at 10-under par. Mickelson birdied 6 of his final 10 holes today to boost him to the win. David Rummels finished at 6-under, 4 shots back. Haynes Stewart 5-under par. Phil Mickelson wins the Buick Open. Well, there's a foot of snow outside here, but things are just fine down in sunny Florida as the baseball training camps are now getting into full swing. The Pirates at Pirate City in Bradenton. It's a new-look Pirates team, but the skipper thinks his club will do just fine.
Okay, you know, we've had some changes. We got hit pretty hard by free agency and, of course, some other moves that we had to make for financial reasons. But, you know, I think we'll be okay as we get into the season, particularly, you know, if the minor league kids can play as good as our people think they can by mid-season, I think we'll be a pretty good team.
And this just hot off the wires, Riddick Bowe, the WBA and IBF heavyweight champion, today said he's agreed to a rematch with Evander Holyfield.
Ooh.
So we have that to look forward to probably sometime this summer.
All right, great. Thanks, Chuck.
Millions of dollars in that, baby.
You bet. And speaking of millions, well, at least hundreds, up next, proof that life begins after 110. One heck of a birthday when we come back.
Most President's Day celebrations salute Washington and Lincoln, but at Chrysler Plymouth, we're including McKinley and Cleveland. That means savings into the thousands. You can save almost $2,000 on a powerful V6 Plymouth Duster. Or get a sporty Sundance with a long list of standards, including a driver's airbag for less than $7,400. Save big and meet some presidents you hardly know. At Chrysler Plymouth, where real advantages make a real difference.
No matter what type of business you run, there's one thing you share with others. You need energy to meet process demands, for temperature control, and technical requirements. You need to satisfy environmental concerns. Should you go with short-term savings or long-term benefits? How do you get both? Maybe it's time to call in an expert.
Her 4-year-old son was molested by her 11-year-old niece.
She had intercourse with my son.
Next Sally.
4 p.m. Monday on Channel 4.
Now, during Gardner Furniture's annual winter sale, you can save 20 to 40% on better quality furniture off manufacturer's prices. Choose from a variety of styles or custom order your furniture and enjoy the same savings. Know, too, that the fine furniture you'll see already has met Gardner's strict quality standards before it appears on our showroom floors. Gardner Furniture's annual winter sale, the ideal time to experience outstanding values on quality furniture.
Wouldn't it be great if you could walk into a bar, line everybody up, press some sort of magic button, and everyone's gone who's involved, married, looking to score, angry, drunk, whatever. And then the only ones left are the basic nice people who really would like to meet someone special. Now, that may only leave 2 people, but those are the ones you really wanted to meet anyway. At Matchmaker International, that's sort of how we do it. We look for sincerity. We flip the rest.
WBEN's weather fact says heavy snow this morning.
I gotta get to the station.
Plus,
Morning man Bill Lacey is learning firsthand about weather facts from 9:30 WBEN.
I don't believe this.
With the latest traffic conditions.
The Skyway is closed in both directions.
Official school and business closings.
Rescue dog closed for business today.
You too? I don't believe this. And Buffalo's exclusive weather facts forecast.
There's even a chance of lightning, believe it or not.
No. Yes. News 9:30 WBEN.
Next, Bill Lacey on the Good Morning Show.
Believe it.
All right, Chuck, is that what it's going to look like tomorrow morning?
Well, I'll tell you, speaking of WBEN, Don Paul will have the latest in the morning on the morning drive time. But for right now, here's a quick preview for you. About 2 to 4 inches additional snow. The temperature in the morning, 28 to 32 degrees.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. And we close tonight with something you don't see every day, a 118th birthday party. It was held today in France for Jeanne Calment. She was born in 1875, and she's still going strong. Now, Calment is from southern France, but relatives from all over the country and other parts of Europe showed up to help her celebrate. There were not, we are told, 118 candles, though, for her to blow out, and that's probably good. Would have melted the icing on the cake, I think. That's News 4 at 11 for this Sunday night. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.